أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. O Lord, uh, help us to benefit from knowledge which you bestow and help us learn from that which you've enabled us to learn and increase us in knowledge. Ameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ameen. So we are continuing on today with the 21st flash on sincerity. We need to go over the last, we're gonna start with this last paragraph of the 21st flash. So the part that is highlighted, we're gonna start from there. So Mariam, whenever you're ready, please begin. Thank you.
Okay, my brothers, there are many obstacles before significant good works. Satan's put up a powerful struggle against those who assist in them. In the face of those obstacles and Satan's, you have to rely on the strength of sincerity. You should avoid things that harm sincerity, as you avoid snakes and scorpions. In accordance with the words of Joseph, upon whom be peace. Nor do I absolve my own self of blame. The human soul is certainly prone to evil, unless my sustainer do bestow his mercy. Chapter 12, verse 53. The evil commanding soul cannot be relied upon. Do not let egotism and the soul deceive you. To gain sincerity and preserve it, you should take as your guide the following rules. Your first rule: you should seek divine pleasure in your actions. If Almighty God is pleased, it is of no importance if the whole world even is displeased. If he accepts an action and everyone else rejects it, their rejection has no effect. Once his pleasure has been gained and he has accepted an action, even if you do not ask it of him, should he wish it and his wisdom requires it, he will make others accept it. He will make them consent to it too. For this reason, to seek divine pleasure should be the sole aim in aim and aim in this service.
Thank you, Mariam, for a beautiful reading. So let's work on this together.
Assalamu alaikum. So I'm going over the first paragraph that Mariam read. So there are many obstacles before significant good works. So Satan puts up a powerful struggle against those who assist in them. And just to recap on our topic so that everybody is good, that we've been discussing sincerity, and it's a pretty straightforward kind of simple principles that every human being can follow and then see within themselves. Like if one listens to their human side, their consciousness, what their heart tells them, and not to have adversity or contention with their fellow brothers and sisters, then they can live a very beautiful, harmonious kind of life together. So, and it's very a good thing to have union, because in union there is strength in every, as you see in every society, individuals, when they get together, they form a powerful group, a powerful bond. So it is important for us, for the students of the Quran, to also work in a unified fashion, unified manner, and support the purpose of their, the significance of holding on to that there is an almighty Lord that is their owner and who is the owner of the universe. So when it says, there are Satans put up a powerful struggle against those who assist them, I would ask any one of you, if anybody would like to talk on exactly what that statement is referring to, or what does the author mean by what kind of Satans is he talking about? Is it something within myself, or is it something outside? Is it something external, or what is going on? Would anybody like to share their thoughts?
What type of Satan is the author referring to? Yeah, within me, yeah.
And the reason I ask this is because the verse that comes up is very interesting, because everything in the end has to do with me.
Mm.
Right. So, I mean, we can just see how this whole paragraph kind of goes, in terms of that there are certain things that one human being may rely on. It says those obstacles and Satans, you have to rely in the face of those obstacles and Satans, you have to rely on the strength of sincerity. So whatever outside maybe external to your being, there are certain ideas, certain values that may be thrown at me or thrown at individuals. If it contradicts the understanding of my, belief of my absolute truth, my relationship with that, then I have to be watchful for that. So I have to keep that union and bond between my fellow, students of the Quran as well. And he says that, avoid those that harm sincerity, just as you physically would, keep yourselves away from snakes and scorpions because they are physically harmful to you, although they are created beings, but they are, physically they give harm to you. So does anybody want to share their understanding on what is going on? I am open to hearing your comments as well to make this a little bit more interactive. Thank you.
So this is an interesting text, as usual. Pretty straightforward as well. However, I need to apply the case to myself. So some of the questions, while our friend here was going over, so really, what obstacle would Satan throw at me? What do I understand from Satan? What type of Satan is the author referring to, as in something that's external to me or something that I am acquainted with? So yeah, these are just some thoughts that are occurring. Please, feel free to chime in if something comes to your mind or any other comment that goes around here. So Mariam, go ahead, please.
So the comment about in the paragraph, my brothers, from that part, I remember I said this in a discussion before about how Satan can kind of like control you in a way that it makes you do things that you want to do that are bad to do. Like I remember I gave an example before, like it's praying time, but you want to continue watching a show. It pleases you, but if you think about it in this way, it's like the patience is sour, but the fruit of patience is sweet. So if you follow God's path from the beginning, you will have a good result. Like at the end, He'll be sweet for you. Even though it's kind of hard to, you just have to continue on the journey. But when you follow Satan's path, it's sweet in the beginning, but the end result is sour. So it's hard to decide, but if you think about the results, it would be easy.
Thank you, Mariam. Beautiful understanding. Thank you for sharing that. So, following the God's path, I really appreciate you mentioning that. That listening to whatever your relationship with your Lord is, and trying to follow the way as a being I am made, I would like to follow that way. How whoever made me wants me to be in that way. So any distraction, any path that takes me away from that relationship, from that sincere relationship, because everything has to do with me and my owner, how I establish that relationship. And your example also works beautifully there as well, that if something takes one away from their relationship or their communication with their Lord, then yeah, that is becomes something that is satanic. So that's a very good understanding, I would say. Thank you for that. Would anybody else want to chime in? And I see, Mariam, your hand is still up. Would you like to continue talking, say something, share your comment? If so, you can do so. If not yet, thank you. Anybody else would like to say anything? All right, so that's perfectly fine. You're always welcome to raise your hand whenever you have something to share or want to state anything. So in the face of those obstacles and Satan's, you have to rely on the strength of sincerity. So sincerity, again, also being tied to the union between, for the, as Mariam also highlighted about the way you are and you're on the path of your owner with your owner, the path of God, whatever you want to say, but how your being is, being true to yourself and being true to the purpose in your living here, in your existence here. And I mean, yeah, anything that keeps you away is from your relationship with your Lord, or tries to break up that idea of the relationship that you would like to have with your Lord. Anything that breaks that bond between the students of the Quran, then that is something to be avoided. And that is, as it says, snakes and scorpions. So that takes us to the verse and from the Quran, which Maryam read about chapter 12, verse 53. Nor do I absolve my own self of blame. So that is a beautiful admission that, hey, I have this side of me, that I need to take care of, or I need to train in my living here. The human soul is certainly prone to evil unless my sustainer do bestow his mercy. Quran chapter 12, verse 53. So let's discuss this verse, and anybody would like to state anything, please raise your hand on this. So I think this is the real human dilemma. I would say that, if there was no guidance or there was no consciousness in the human being, then definitely, you know, the human being would be confused and lost on what to do with their being, with their living here in this world. And the, the mercy of the sustainer is exactly how the human being is made, and with their human side, with the consciousness, and the universe is right there along with the human being to assist in his understanding their purpose, their meaning in their life. So that is my immediate takeaway. But please, if anybody would like to comment further, add anything on, because it also says, to explain this verse, that the evil commanding soul cannot be relied upon. So that makes pretty, like, theoretically it makes sense, but one has to really work on this in the practical side, because in the day-to-day activities, at my work, I may get really proud of my way of doing things, and I just say, hey, this is the way it has to be, and this is, I can take that kind of role, and I lose my kind of sense of what my reality is, that I am somebody who is made. And same thing in the matters of how I defend or partake in the matters of the faith, belief, or in terms of realizing my what my purpose is and establishing that relationship with my source of existence. So I may defend an idea with, hey, this is it and there's no other way, that kind of attitude, without, and forgetting actually, that I need to be, disregard any of those minute, insignificant kind of feelings to the individuals, because every individual, there might be one idea or one thing that they may, I may disagree with them, but as the individual is a whole individual, and we need to talk further in a more friendly kind of way, rather than creating animosity with each other. And I see Brother Ali's hand is up, so Brother Ali, please take it away.
Okay, I couldn't unmute myself. Now the subject is, of course, everything said was very useful, especially Maryam. What she said, it was quite interesting and useful. Now, the subject is about the obstacles before important good actions or good works. Good works means not doing something not for your own worthy benefit, I would call it in this way. Of course, ultimately it helps and it nourishes your spirit. That is something else. But at first glance, at the first step, we have to do something not in a self-centric manner, but in an altruistic manner for the benefit of others, not only for human beings, for the benefit of humans, other human beings, other animals, plants, and other creatures as well, for the benefit of them, in order to give their right to them, in order to acknowledge their duty in this world, and also respect their existence as much as you respect my own existence, at least, or more, to respect their existence. These are all, as I understand, from good works. It means any kind of altruistic work. Now there are obstacles. What are they? Of course, the verse, the author quotes here, cites here, he says, I do not absolve my own self, means myself. What does it mean? I don't, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. Oh, I cannot say that my self, my own being is pure. Now, we have to pay attention to this reality that if I interpret my existence, if I interpret my being in such a way that I exist by myself, so I feel that I'm not responsible for anything else. Only I have to take care of my own benefit. That is the attitude of a person who interprets his being as self-existing being, not indebted to somebody, or that person is not indebted his existence to anything else, but he exists by himself. Whatever it is, he doesn't feel any obliged to be thankful to anything else. So he has to see the world from his own perspective and act according to his own benefit or chains of benefits. Even if he does something apparently good action, altruistic action, he takes the result, or he regards the result of this action as to bring some benefit to his own psychological comfort, for example, to soothe his feelings, to satisfy himself. That is why there is an alternative for human beings, whether we understand that our existence is given to us by something else, we have to search for it, or not without searching for it, except that my existence is nothing but by myself. I happen to be like this, and how I am, that's it. With this attitude, uh, the Quran teaches the word Satan. Satan means, in the story of the story of Adam, Satan represents nothing but acknowledging the Adam who is created as Bashar by God, consisting of his body. It means clay, mud. Now, and compares. It is just an analogy. Compares that I am created out of fire. He is created out of mud, metal. Fire is better than mud. How can I really obey him and serve him? So Satan means satanic idea, or Satan represents which is the satanic idea as identified generally. Satanic idea represents the matter only, existing as a matter only, not the spirit of Adam. It means whatever gives value to the existence of the things. For example, as far as human beings are concerned, spirit. As far as other matter is concerned, the meaning, the signs that we can read in them, in the existence of the other beings. So Satan doesn't accept, it means, what I understand from Satan and satanic forces and the deceptions and whisperings, all centered around seeing the world as it materially appears to be, not seeing the meaning, not seeing signs, not seeing the qualities manifested, artful qualities manifested in their existence. When it comes to human being, not seeing the spirit put in the clay of Adam. So this worldview has to be materialistically oriented and focused on matter only. That's what the Quran represents as Iblis, Satan. So when we are reading this word, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي, I cannot really absolve my own self. It means self-centric interpretation of the existence of oneself. Self-centric interpretation of the existence of the universe by myself, but by itself. It exists by itself. So this attitude has to be self-centric, and any self-centric inclination, tendency, prevents human beings from being altruistic, sacrificial activities. It means I am given existence and I have to be respectful to my creator, and I wouldn't interpret the word as only for myself, but for others as well. My existence has value, so does the existence of the other things have value. I have to respect this value because I am considering myself as a valuable being, not only matter. Matter has no value in and of itself because matter has no meaning, no virtue, no qualities belonging or deriving from themselves. That is how I understand Satan. And this idea, this attitude of human beings is the most effective obstacle in the way uh, of doing any good activities, any good works. So we have to be very careful about this side of understanding of myself, so that I wouldn't fall into the trap of this wrong interpretation of existence, which is satanic interpretation of my existence. I don't know whether it is a very abstract way of explaining what Satan is, but it is interesting for me. That's why I wanted to share it with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. No, that was pretty clear, Alhamdulillah, about the Satan and relating it to comparing it to the Adams, how the Adam story is explained in the Quran, Adam and Eve, and basically that comparison of the material side and not looking at the meaningful side of what makes a human being. So only body, mud versus clay, or clay versus fire, is a comparison, not seeing their existence altogether and seeing the meaning side that they're coming from the same being. So that tied in well to the how the self-centric attitude does is disregards that meaningful side or the human side of things, and it's very kind of selfish and you know keeps one just for their own personal benefit rather than being respecting everything in creation, right? So being altruistic in terms of seeing everything coming from that same owner and respecting them the way they are meant to be respected as being representatives of the maker of the universe. And I know, Mariam, you had your hand up for some time, so please pardon for that. So you can go ahead. Whatever comment you have to make, please go for it.
Okay, so in the verse, I want to say the part where it says the human soul is certainly prone to evil. So I want to say, like, when one makes a sin, they the sin comes from the Satan who makes you make sin. And also, I would also want to share about, and the second after that, after the verse, it says, "Do not let egotism and the soul deceive you," meaning do not let Satan control you, because the ego is kind of like being selfish, and basically it's like saying that do not let Satan deceive you, control you.
Mashallah, thank you for sharing this beautiful comment, Mariam. It perfectly makes sense in terms of practically how any sort of attitude we may take towards creation in general, if I am letting myself being dictated by satanic whisperings or anything that is contrary to the way I am made, then definitely I am being deceived here, because the human spirit is pure in its nature. But I always have the option, just like with the example you gave out earlier, I have the option to choose the way that I'm made in terms of God's way, or I have the option to just, enjoy myself temporarily and being deceived by the short-term idea, or the idea that is promising just like a short-term pleasure. And it's a deception. And so, yeah, I think I also like the part that in the words where you said that my human soul is prone to evil, in terms of, yeah, if I let myself being dictated by the dark side of me, or the
self-centric side.
self-centric, exactly. That makes sense. Thank you for sharing this. And yeah, it's a very powerful verse as well, because the way it starts off, nor do I absolve my own self of blame. As in, I'm always making choices. So any sort of result that I experience is also, um, it's also, most likely based on, the choice that I make. So if I choose to watch a show, while, I could be doing my homework, then that's it. That's my choice. And then I choose it that way. So thank you for sharing that comment. Let's see if anyone else wants to add something here. And it's also interesting how, the author is really emphasizing on the fact that we have to gain sincerity in our endeavors. And I was also thinking about the comment that Brother Ali shared about, if my worldview is just restricted to a physical appearance that I see, which then is a delusion, sooner or later I realize it, then that's that to, whatever I want to experience. However, my human spirit yearns for meaning. And so it wants to go beyond the apparent causes and connect everything with the one that's setting up the stage for us, and sort of being in a sincere communication. And, it was interesting about that altruistic side of things, because I feel that with a worldview that's just based on apparent physical causes, I'm very self-centric. I'm just focusing on the immediate things that I see around me. I just want immediate results, rather than, I think I've become more vigilant about other creation around me, like for the well-being of other creation around me. If I am in recognition that this is how I'm made, that I am made in a way that I like to help others around me, that whoever is giving me existence has endowed this sense of helping others. So I act in his name.
But, so that brings me to the point, like the altruism or altruistic, it's kind of being redefined here also. Like normally, so there are many altruistic people in society that we may know, but the distinction here is being made: either I do it in my name, or this is again goes back to that self-centric, altruism with a self-centric approach, which goes again to being something deceiving me, and that's that evil or the satanic kind of way. And then there is that altruistic, but within the seeing that everything belongs to the owner, so not taking ownership of anything.
It's an interesting point that you bring up, because then it's really, how am I executing any action? Like, with what consciousness do I have? Because clearly, I can do everything in my name, just like even helping the neighbors, helping the needy, helping the animals outside. So
Yeah.
I think the first step is that's how we are made. We want to help creation around us. We want to do good, but then that doesn't stop here. We have to make sure that in whose or what in what whose name am I acting, and yeah, I think that's where the author is saying that you have to be sincere in your endeavors. It's a good point.
Excellent, thank you. So that brings us to the first rule.
Yeah.
Let's go to the first rule.
Uh-huh.
Unless anybody else wants to comment, or you can, just raise your hand. So exactly as Surya, you were saying about that, the first rule is I should seek divine pleasure in my actions.
Oh, good one.
So that is the rule. So, and we can read this. If Almighty God is pleased, it is of no importance if the whole world even is displeased. That's a pretty bold statement right there. Like, it doesn't matter, if I don't have that many likes on my status, or, because if
there goes my social life.
if my Lord is pleased, then it doesn't matter, if I have, the whole world is displeased. Because my relationship with my Lord is the primary focus, takes precedence. So the meaningful side of things, which is what the rule is kind of hinting at. So get it, avoid that self-centric, that egoistic kind of behavior in my being.
I think I like that you're emphasizing on the part that I shouldn't be doing it in my name, because that's where I'm inclined towards that the dark side of myself, or this evil commanding soul, just wants to appropriate everything to itself. So I think that's like the main point, at least for me here, is I think just to realize that it's not my doing. I'm just I can't even create these feelings within me, so it's all give it existence. And we see.
Thank you. Yeah. So Mariam, would you like to go first, and then we'll ask Brother Ali?
So on the sentence, it says, "If Almighty God is pleased, it is of no importance if the whole world even is displeased." I would want to give an example of that. So if you get to a point where someone like maybe in school, how bullies just come up to you and they ask you many multiple questions and you don't answer, Almighty God is pleased when you don't answer and you stay silent and you ignore them. But the people, the bullies who are asking you, they aren't pleased because they want to hear your answer.
Thank you, Mariam, for sharing that. That's a good example. I enjoyed it. Thank you. And Brother Ali, please go ahead.
I enjoyed it.
Can you rephrase what Mariam said? She says something very beautiful, but help me.
Mariam, would you like to give your example again?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So my example was when someone is kind of like comes to bully you and they ask you multiple questions, and Almighty God is pleased when you ignore them and don't answer back.
Good, thank you. Thank you, good example. Now, we have to talk about what do we mean by if God is pleased, what does it mean? Really, what does it mean, pleasing God, or God is pleased with me? I think, like many other apparently mystical expressions we use in terms of religious life and religious concepts, must be explained, or can be explained. It's possible to be explained in terms of interpreting, understanding existence. How do we see our existence? As earlier on mentioned, that if I see that the universe exists by itself, therefore I exist by myself. And if I exist by myself, I am not obliged to take notice of other things. Even I take, for example, environmentally oriented people, aware people, environmentally concerned people. They say we have to protect the forests, for example, maybe rainforests mostly, because they are the lungs of the earth and they clean the air. Otherwise, I am respecting the forest for what? Otherwise, my life will be at risk. I won't have enough oxygen. I may be poisoned by the carbon dioxide of the atmosphere. It means really dirty atmosphere, polluted atmosphere. Now, it again turns out to be a self-centric interpretation. Why is it a selfish interpretation? Because I am responsible for myself. I take notice of only for myself because I exist by myself, or how I am. That's it. I have no feeling to be indebted to anything else because my existence happens by itself. That is the source of all uh, sorts of wrong interpretation of any matter. So if I don't take this stand and think about my reality, what I am, how can I exist? Is it possible that I may be a result of an accidental, random happenings? And then say, no, it can't be, but it seems to be so perfectly arranged as far as the whole conditions of the order of the universe and my existence is perfectly matching. Therefore, I am given existence because I cannot give existence. Matter cannot give existence by themselves. I am given existence by a one who holds on the order of the whole universe and creates it and takes care of the acts of creation continuously in time. Now, this uh, this type of approach to the universe makes me turn back to myself and say, so I am given existence by the creator of the universe, whoever he is. Okay, my feelings also are endowed on me as a result of his choice. And I start thinking of the wisdom, the purpose in giving all these senses to me, human senses to me. And I have to use it in such a way that I will appreciate the one who endowed me all these qualities. How can I appreciate it? I have to use it in acknowledgement of his ownership, so that I will not use it in a selfish way. I will try to see the purpose in their existence. So in this case, what is the purpose in their existence? I look at the universe, they don't tell me much. They don't give me much clues to answer my question. So I have to turn back to my creator saying that, look, I understand that you have given me the consciousness through which I became aware that these feelings are given to me by a one who is consciously creating, administering, and managing, sustaining the universe. It is you, whoever you are. This is called in the religious language God. Okay, so this is called God. Yeah, who is God? The source of existence of everything, and everything belongs to Him. It must be His property because I cannot attribute them to anyone. That is God. So I have to use it in a way that my action should be appropriately adapting itself to the purpose He gave them to me. What is the purpose? In order to we understand that these feelings, human side, uh, has the qualities to acknowledge their source of existence. So when I am using it, I have to use it for this purpose, in acknowledgement of the source of my feelings, my human qualities. So I have to be in this way, in this way. I have to use it in the way He is acknowledged. And this way of acknowledgement is given or taught to me through the messengers, because messengers, when they bring the message from the Creator, they say, here is the evidence, it is not from me, it is from the Creator. And He says, you have to act in this way, in this way, in this way. And you have to acknowledge Him in this way, in that way. The instruction comes from there. And I have to check this instruction, whether it fits the quality of my human side as well. If I am seeing that they are really corresponding to each other, then I have to say, of course, this message must be from the one who gave me this human feelings. It means who gave me the existence of myself, including my human feelings and my body, everything. So if I act according to these instructions, it means that is the purpose of my existence, that I am fulfilling the purpose of my existence. It means that is why I am created. The one who created me will say, that's what I expect. That is why I created you, and you are functioning in this way. Of course, if you do something, we, as a human beings, we are given the quality to understand that if I do something for a purpose and it functions as I want, or I wanted it to function, I am happy. That is called God's pleasure. No, in order to please God means, it is a metaphoric way of speaking, not please God, in order to act according to the purpose He gave me, or He gave, or He created the feelings in myself. That is the outcome, corollary outcome, necessary outcome of my understanding. If I act according to the purpose of the creation, the necessary conclusion of it is the Creator must be pleased with it, because it says, that is why I created, and it is functioning as I want. That is the pleasure of God from my perspective. I shouldn't make a distance between, I am here, God is there, I have to do something in order to please Him so that He will be entertained. That is what happens between human beings. But between me and my Creator, I cannot put distance. I cannot put any distance. It is present in my own existence. That's what we have to understand, this kind of apparently mysterious and also ambiguous language. What do we mean by pleasing God? God is pleased with me. I mean, what does it mean? It needs really a substantial explanation for it. Inshallah, it helps a little bit to understand this kind of phrases very commonly used among the religious people. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you. I think this requires some reflection, at least on my end, but I'll just briefly share in my takeaway in terms of how within my own given human feelings I get to communicate with the source of my existence, and within that communication I can also recognize what's going on as far as my relationship with my source of existence is concerned. So to answer the question of what does it mean that God is pleased with me, or how do I please God, it really lies within my human feelings. So let's say if I'm helping out some neighbor who needs help, so if at every step of the way, if I'm connected with this feeling of me in terms of it's not coming from myself, it's not coming from the food I ate, the feeling of wanting to help my neighbor is not coming from my particles or anything that I'm breathing in the air. If I can go more steps beyond this, where I get to conclude, hey, the one that has made me in a way where I'm endowed with this feeling of wanting to help others. And so when I'm helping my neighbor, I feel pleased with just doing a good act. But then knowing that this feeling of feeling good by doing the good act does not belong to me, rather it belongs to the one that has programmed me this way or given me this feeling of wanting to help, giving me this opportunity, who has presented me this opportunity with my neighbor to actually execute this feeling of wanting to help. So then the pleasure, then really I can get acquainted with that pleasure within me. Farah, I see your microphone is unmuted. Please go ahead if you want to also make a comment. It's okay if it was a mistake, then no worries. At any time, feel free to raise your hand, or anybody else if you want to make a comment or has something to say. So I think what Brother Ali highlighted about this feeling pleased, I think within myself, if I'm able to connect that feeling in terms of concluding that there must be an absolute source of existence who's creating this universe right now and presenting me with this opportunity and presenting me with this feeling to use it. So then I think I can, then there's like a very close relationship. I think one can establish a close relationship between themselves and their source of existence. So yeah, that was interesting actually. Let's see if you look like you want to say something.
No, that's good. So within my being, all these feelings are there. I find myself with all those feelings.
Yeah.
And that feelings actually is my link between the one who gives me those feelings. So within my being, within my own self, I have all those things that are directly, that have this relationship. And that's where I have to establish that connection back to, as you said, about where this feeling of helping someone. So that feeling is not, I cannot take it for myself because I didn't produce or give that feeling to myself, but that feeling has been given within me, and that is the sign that the closeness of my relationship with the one who gives me, how he introduces myself to him. And with that feeling, I can see that, I'm acting the way he wants me to be by giving that feeling.
That's a good point that you highlighted.
So that's how I mean, picking up on the way the explanations that were going on.
That's good. That helps me also comprehend a little better in terms of, I think also another point that Brother Ali was highlighting is not that, hey, I'm going to help my neighbor because my Lord is going to be happy with me. then that's just like you can cross out this reasoning, because then there's sort of like a disconnect between my human feelings and doing something. Rather, I should be utilizing the human feeling and then connecting it each step of the way to the source of my existence, right?
Yeah, that would be ideal. If I can do that.
Do what? Like
Each step of the way, if I
Oh
can
my-
connect those feelings. Yeah.
That's what we always talk about. We're being very idealistic here. Inshallah, that's the whole training. So that's a prayer. I mean, at least for everyone. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah, for me.
For me too.
Okay.
I think for everyone.
Yeah, so that would be good. So, and that's how we get God's pleasure. It lies within me, and that's where the mysterious side or mystical side of things are. Oh, that'll be good to live like that. Imagine, inshallah. Okay, good.
So, is anybody else wants to make any comment on this first rule?
Does Mariam understand it? Like, we can ask her, what did she take over from?
Sure, you can ask.
Hey, Mariam. I don't know if you took away anything from what was shared. Mariam, would you care to share what you took away from what was shared thus far? Perhaps that can help me better digest the material.
I took away when Dr. Lee was talking about what it means if Almighty God is pleased. And I took away that because, like, I actually was wondering, how would Almighty God be pleased? Like, what do you need to do so He can be pleased? So it means to follow, like, in my case, I think it means to, like, follow His path and do the things that He allows you to do, and be sincere to everyone around you, and be nice to everyone and with respect.
Yeah, thank you, Mariam. Be nice to everyone. Yeah, I want to also work on that part as well, because that's how I'm made. We're made in a way where you want to be nice to everybody around you. You want to respect everyone around you. And I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
No, that was good. So, what I heard was also following the way your Lord wants you to be.
Hmm.
So, basically, follow His guidance, right? And then, as Brother Lee was saying, when you interact with the universe doesn't tell you how to direct your feelings. It doesn't tell you that, hey, this feeling of my compassion or to help someone, to be kind,
Yeah.
where did that come from? So the universe doesn't give that. My relationship with the people, I'm still left to wonder. That's why, as Maria was saying, I need to look for who gave me this. So I have the guidance and the message that the prophet brings. Both help me, along with my feelings, to tell me that this feeling has been imparted on me. It has been given by the one who knows me, who knows the whole universe, who knows the whole setup. And now this close relationship is there between me and my Lord, that I am tying this sense, this feeling of mine, this emotion back to the source, the originator who gave me that feeling. So is that, Mariam, is that what you were saying? And please go ahead, your hand is up again.
I wanted to share something about, I read a book. It's called Tuesday of the Other June, and in the book there's this like sentence that said, if you smile to the universe will smile back to you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Seriously, if you look at anything like a beautiful flower, it's
and if you're in a good mood, then the flower will smile back at me also.
Rub it in, bro. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like creation, everybody smiles at brings you joy, just like looking at a beautiful flower. So you're right. There's like a two-way relationship going on. But you know what the guidance from the creator of the universe is telling us, it becomes like a three-way relationship, as in, so it's me, the universe, and then I connect to the source of my existence, because everything is presented to me from the source of my existence. So when I'm smiling or interacting with the flowers, flowers bring me joy and everything. But then I take one more step, that, hey, this flower is presented to me by its maker, and the maker is making me realize how pleased uh, it is, with its creation. So I think that's how we feel pleased also with the source of our existence. And this whole part about when you said that really it's about following the way I'm made, as in following the way my creator has made me, or just like the word that my friend here used, following the guidance from the creator of the universe. So it's really a guidance, as in, sometimes things are like logical or common sense. If I see somebody's in need of help, like my neighbor, of course, everyone will go and help out, run away, run to help out the neighbor. But now within this interaction, I need to be recognizing that it's not me that is doing that, but I'm enabled in such a way that requires me to help my neighbor. I think just like you and everyone else pointed out. So just, wanted to bring that point. And is there any follow-up? Are we good, Mariam? Thank you for sharing that. And I see that there's also a comment from Sohail. What does he mean when he says others will accept it? Would anyone? Yeah, Brother Ali, go ahead, please, and we can tackle that.
Yes, it's the statement that Suhail shared with us. The text says, he will make others accept it. It means the sincerity as far as the relationship between the brothers. It means the people of truth, people of religion, you call it, but I think people of truth is the best word. As far as the people of truth, the relationship between the people of truth is concerned, how are we going to arrange this relationship between ourselves? The author says we have to be sincere. It means we have to look the way how we can gain sincerity. So, of course, it needs explanation. Although we have been studying what sincerity is, maybe we can just summarize it with a phrase that doing any action in order to gain the pleasure of God, as we explained earlier on today. Doing this action, if we do act in a sincere way, it means if we do act in acknowledgement of the purpose of the creation or the creation of our feelings, if we use them, choose them through our free will, that way I have to choose this way. It means I have to choose it. I have to choose to use my feelings in order to fulfill the purpose of their existence. Therefore, in order to make the creator be pleased with it, because the the purpose of the existence has been fulfilled. I understood that this is this will be the appropriate way of using my feelings. So this understanding necessarily brings that my existence doesn't come from me. None of the things' existence doesn't come from themselves. And the existence of tomorrow or next moment doesn't come from the present existence of the universe. It means present existence of the universe is given by the creator. Next moment's existence also is being created, or it's going to be created by the creator again, because the creator is beyond time and space limitations. So when I do something in a sincere way, it means pleasing God, the result of my action will be created by whom? According to this understanding, the result of my action will be created by definition by the one who created right now, my action, right now. The next moment is also going to be created by him. So next moment, if I do something, for example, if I want to convey the truth to somebody else, just for the sake of truth only, so it is up to God's decision whether the result is going to be created or not, because it is not up to me, because I cannot create it. So God can result the expected. God is the one who creates the result. God is the one who is going to create the expected result, not me. It is up to him. So I have to act in sincerity and leave the result to God. And the text says, he will make others accept it. Exactly. It is his will to create the result. He will make others accept it, not I will make others accept it, because I'm not a creator. But in order to have this concept, this consciousness, I have to be aware that my existence always belongs to him, and I have to use my free will with this consciousness that I am just choosing to fulfill the purpose of the existence of my feelings, actions, everything. That is what the consciousness is needed. This consciousness is called sincerity. In the Quranic language also, sincere religion belongs to God, etc. It means religion is there, the way of life, or the way we act in our life, the way we choose to make decisions must belong to God, because he owns it and he is the one who is going to create the result. This goes along with our logical reasoning and also news we hear from the Quran. They are compatible with each other. It is satisfactory for me. Just I wanted to share it with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Yes, so that is a good reminder that whatever action we do, the result is not created by us. And that principle holds on to, whatever in the principles of sincerity, whatever we're engaging with the other folks as well, whatever ideas are being shared, then, I do whatever is within my responsibility, within the order that allows me to do those things, but right, which is also something that is coming from him. Every moment, every action is only facilitated by his creation of it. So the result also must be created by him.
So it's like if I give you a flower.
Okay, thank you very much.
So my concern should not be, hey, he will, Asim will get happy or not. But my message is just I'm giving it to you. So I think I don't create the result. All I'm doing is following the order.
Right. It's an interesting example.
Depending on the moods, I don't know.
Okay, so would anybody else, Suhail, would you have a follow-up, or would you like to state anything? Or anybody else? But since Suhail was asking about it, so
He put a comment. He's saying that was it.
thank you, Suhail. All right, so if anybody else would like to comment, please. I think we have a few minutes left. So, Mariam, if you're available, we can read the second rule.
Yes, let's do that, Mariam. Inshallah.
Okay. Your second rule. This is not to criticize your brothers who are employed in the service of the Quran, and not to excite their envy by displaying superior virtues. For just as one hand cannot compete with the other, so one eye cannot criticize the other, nor the tongue object to the ear, nor the heart see the spirit's faults. Each of a person's members completes the deficiencies of the others, veils their faults, assists their needs, and helps them out in their duties. Otherwise his life would be extinguished, his spirit flee, and his body fall apart. Similarly, the components of a factory's machinery cannot compete with one another in rivalry, take precedence over each other, or dominate each other. They cannot spy out one another's faults and criticize each other, destroy the other's eagerness for work, and cause him to become idle. They rather assist each other's motions with all their capacity in order to achieve the common goal. They march toward the aim of their creation in true solidarity and unity. If even the slightest aggression or desire to dominate were to interfere, it would throw the factory into confusion, canceling its products and results. The factory's owner would then demolish the factory entirely.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mariam, for that reading.
That was a nice slow reading.
Yeah, so this second rule is very interesting in terms of how we should behave or practically. And I think, Mariam, maybe if you would you have your first impressions on, because the analogy kind of explains somewhat on maybe the slightest aggression or desire to dominate, to interfere by any member, or kind of disrupts that union, that bond. So just like the physical bodies, each component of the body supports the other. So that makes a complete human being. Each member, each limb, everything supports the other. And one, similarly, in the matters of sincerity, you know, each individual supports the other fellow individuals as well. But let's hear from you, Mariam, if you have any. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So when it's on that paragraph, this is not to criticize your brothers, and the whole sentence, I understand from it as and like the other part of the paragraph with the other sentences, I understand it as you cannot like it's like the phrase you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot criticize someone by like who they are or how they act. You like treat everyone fairly and be sincere to them. And you and like in the Quran, it kind of has rules in there to like follow from your creator's words.
And yeah, I'm back from my homework, and like what Mariam said, you can't be judgmental, and you have to have a positive attitude and can't criticize someone on what they're doing. Like Mariam said, don't judge a book by its cover. It's good not to be like you have to be polite and respectful. That's how everyone will see you if you act like that. You know, if you just act nice on the outside, but like in the inside you're like kind of dark, and you just want to have like a good reputation, that's kind of not good. I mean, having a good reputation is good, but like if you're like, if you know you like you act bad on the outside, but you're actually good and like positive in the inside, you know, that's not bad, but you just have to act better. It's like it kind of counts on your reputation and the way you act.
Wow, Mariam, thank you. And who is that with you? Is there you have a guest or someone?
It's Ryan.
Oh, Rayan. Okay, interesting. Interesting comments. Thank you both for sharing that. So not judging was a good point about, I liked your words that you said, don't judge a book by its cover. So we should not be criticizing, not be judgmental.
That's a good reminder for me.
It's a good, yeah.
I mean,
So practically, I think we need to really,
remind ourselves every
yeah,
day.
remind ourselves about it. So, and it says like, do not criticize your brothers who are employed in this service of the Quran, and not to excite their envy. So not even trigger any, maybe some sensitivities that would arouse maybe some animosity, or so don't excite their, or by displaying superior virtues, so not to show that, hey, I know much more than what you do, my understanding is much better. So we need to be aware of that, this is not something that that is needs to be done, because that is contrary to what sincerity is, because it's sincerity has to be my relationship with my Lord. So that is what, as we discussed about to achieve God's pleasure the way He wants me to be. So being superior means that I am ignoring or not seeing that the creation side of everything, or my own being, as being given, or the result being created by my owner. So it's an interesting kind of.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And I also liked the part that Ryan mentioned. He brought in some psychological cases in terms of I can be good from the inside, but I'm disguising myself as not that good in terms of depending on a situation. So that's interesting. I'm thinking about it, really. Like some things are obvious as far as I'm concerned, like, don't criticize others. I'm not here to impose anything. I'm just sharing my ideas, and I shouldn't be judgmental of others. And I'm not even, it doesn't mean if I'm sharing something, I'm superior over you. No, 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 no. My thing is right. You are wrong. No, not that kind of attitude. So that's obvious. I get it. And we need reminders on that. At least I do. But the other part in terms of, you want to say something?
Not to that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
please.
before you go to the other part. So that means like everybody is at their own stage of understanding. So I have to be careful not to be judgmental on that.
That's true.
Everybody, let's say I'm at 7th grade, somebody is at the 12th grade level. So there's a difference.
Yeah.
So I have to be mindful of that, hey, not to exert my superiority over that individual. Right? Maybe somebody's at the 5th grade and somebody's at the 7th grade, or some, those kind of situations. In 8th grades, of course, as you go along in the grades, the understanding kind of matures, and so we cannot
make comparison,
do comparisons
in terms of somebody who's at a higher grade than me. Like, hey, I'm just in 7th grade, and that friend is in 11th grade, or vice versa. If I'm in 11th grade, and I cannot just say, haha, oh, you're only in 5th grade. Oh, you poor thing. Sorry, somebody wanted to say something. Go ahead. I heard someone. Please interrupt us. The more people to chat, the merrier. Okay, that was good. So we have 4 minutes. So this was, again, we all need reminders. I remember like the last piece on sincerity also emphasized a lot on this as well. I mean, obviously with the language is different, but we should be putting these concepts into different languages, and different contexts so we can make it very applicable to our personal lives. Now, the other part that Rayan mentioned, I want to get to that. So what would be an example of it? So I'm good from the inside. Like my intention is good, but I think based on some situation, I'm just gonna act like a bad. Yeah, maybe because I have friends who are bullies, so I don't want to hurt somebody. I don't know. But Rayan, do you care to share a little bit what you meant by that, or just present us with a scenario so I can understand? But I really like the whatever scenario you were presenting. If you're still available, Rayan.
So
Good. Yeah.
I can be nice on the outside sometimes, but in the inside, sometimes I cannot be sincere. I think that's happened with people before, like like when I accidentally hurt Mariam sometimes for some reason, because like I act like bad, but then who knows, I'm actually nice.
And also,
No, okay. So like I said, I could be bad on the outside but nice on the inside. Like, well, let's say I hurt someone and then I instant regret. Like, this is just an example. And then like you don't mean to hurt that person, but you just hurt them. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah.
and also, it can also be related to like, yeah, siblings and yeah, so like siblings sometimes don't mean to hurt feelings to each other. Like they're actually sincere inside, but sometimes something just like ticks them that kind of bothers them. So they kind of like show like their kind of like mad side because they have to like argue over it. But inside we're actually like siblings are sincere to each other.
Yeah. Like in a point where you just gotta be nice to each other. Like, that's what people are for. It's not what you're for, but like that's a quality you need to have. We need to have a good personality, build a good personality. Just can't be. I mean, I don't know if you could be bad the whole time. Maybe you should fix it. I mean, not bad, but just like negative. God, just don't be pessimistic, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm just trying to pull something here.
Mashallah. Thank you so much, both Rayan and Mariam. That makes perfect sense to me. I really thank you both for helping me out at least, because even in my personal relationships, this is very helpful. I think in any kind of relationship, and I agree in terms of, by default, everybody's nice. We all want to be nice. We all want to be in good relationship. We don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to be hurt. And so sometimes when we do act mean to people around us, perhaps you want to make a confession too. I'm just kidding. So, but then at the end of the day, when we realize, oh, I was mean, to my, whatever friend or sibling or spouse or parent, but that's good, when we realize that, that feeling is given to us, because just like Rayan said, it's a way to rectify ourselves. Like, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to adapt to that attitude. I want to train myself to, be more pleasant and agreeable, or I want to act in a way that is pleasing to the source of my existence in terms of how I gotta be. So I think this whole thing, anytime we mess up in any kind of relationship, we get, we just have some quarrels amongst each other. Doesn't matter who it is, our friends or parents, siblings and spouse or children. These interaction with the universe, they are a means for me to acknowledge really my reality, and that's beautiful once I acknowledge my reality, because that's how my maker wants it to be. My maker wants me to be in beautiful relationship with creation around me. Just when I'm in a beautiful relationship with the flowers, that's the way I want to be with my sibling, my spouse, my child, or my parents or friend, my teachers. There's so many relationships we are in that we don't recognize. But bottom line is, as long as I am able to identify my mistake and then work on it, inshallah. So that's the way to progress. And thank you so much again, Miriam and Ran, really for sharing in on this, because it helps me also assess my case and situation. And you say something else, Miriam, or whoever it is. Can you please read up on the chat?
I said, do not be deceived by your dark side. I know that kind of sounds funny, but like, I think we all have a dark side. You can't be perfect. So like, just don't be deceived. Like, oh, nice candy over there. You're somewhere, and they said don't eat the candy. All right, and then you're like, oh, that's so tempting, and then you just take a candy. Like, do not be deceived. There is trickery going around here. Like this, like Satan has trickery, and he's trying to trick us. So just don't be deceived.
And what I said friendship, like when you can get into arguments with your friends, but you still have the friendship inside, because like when you have like a close relationship with someone, and meaning like friends or brothers and sisters, you get into arguments sometimes, but inside you actually love each other, and it's still like it's still there's still like something about like the siblings together or friendship, because you were kind of like you're basically friends with everyone in this universe. So you have friendship with them.
Oh my God, you guys, this is too much for me to handle again. Oh my God, this was very touching. And that's part of any healthy relationship. That's, I think, it's good to get into arguments. And so, then we work it out. We learn to ameliorate and increase our friendship. So now let's apply the case to the source of our existence, who's nearer to us than our jugular vein. So anytime, we feel that we did something wrong, we did an error or a mistake, then, we gotta go and ask for repentance, and we repent and ask for forgiveness. So I think that's beautiful also, this relationship with the source of our existence. Just as we learn about, relationships and creation, so that feeling and sense really connects to the relationship with the source of our existence. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, everyone. This was very beneficial for me. Anybody has any comments? Okay. So I guess we can end here for today. So next Sunday, inshallah, we'll pick up from the second paragraph. All right. Thank you all for coming in and participating, sharing your comments, and expressing yourself out, or even asking a question. That was wonderful. Keep up the good work, inshallah. May you all stay safe and healthy. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhir da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati sirra surat al-Fatiha. Ameen.